Hi everyone! So I know I've been really lackluster with getting any animal videos up for you. I don't have loads of animals, but I know people were really interested in seeing more of my tarantulas and everything. I've just been so busy, I haven't got around to doing it, but I have a really cool video here for you today. I went ahead and decided to try and start an ant colony. Woo! I have been I've been watching YouTube as you do, and all I ever see on my recommended is like Ants Canada and Ants Australia and Ants UK and all the ants channels, because apparently that is just what YouTube thinks my next hobby should be. So I finally bit the bullet. I decided to try it. Ants are really interesting anyway. I've got so many feeders for my tarantulas and I'm used to keeping insects to a degree. I know tarantulas are a lot different to ants, but I thought I'd give it a go because it just seemed like a really interesting thing to try. So I have gotten myself a beautiful black majestic queen Lasius niger, also known as the black garden ant, and here she is. She's beautiful. So she hasn't got any nanitics yet, which are what the first generation of workers are called. It's just mostly eggs and larvae and pupa, but hopefully she'll get the first few in the next couple of weeks, and I'm so excited. This species was recommended to me because, for starters, I live in the UK. It's like the most commonly found European species. Most of the time, any black ant you see outside, especially in the UK, will be the Lasius niger. It's called the black garden ant for a reason. They are one of the easiest species to keep for beginners. They're very adaptable. They aren't that picky with conditions. As long as they have a nest, an outworld, food and water, they will thrive in most situations. They're very adaptable, and they are just a good species to try if you want to get into ant keeping. However, one thing to mention, this species of ant can be very fast growing, so you have to make sure you have the space for them as well. Mine will be hibernating in the next few months, and I will have the space come next year for them to grow as it is, so just do be warned, this species can get quite large in numbers, and just be prepared to increase that house as you go along. She is in a test tube setup, as you can see, and this is more than enough space for a queen ant, because naturally in the wild they will form what is known as a claustral cell. They basically dig into the ground or under a slab or somewhere small and tight, and somewhere they can seal off from the rest of the world, and that is where they will remain for quite a few months, especially if they hibernate. And she will be safe in there, it will be dark, she's comfortable, and then that is where she will start developing her eggs and larvae and pupa and start, creating her first nanitics, her first generation. I will probably post a link in the description of where you can find out all about test tube setups and everything else. I'm not going to get so into it in this video because it's not really a tutorial video, it's more just an introduction to what I have. But just check out the description below if you want to see any of the tutorial how-tos down there. I'll make sure to post them. One thing you do need to make sure if you are going to be getting into keeping ants is whether your queen ant is a fully claustral or a semi-claustral species. I think there's also the parasitic species, but I'm not going to get into those because from what I've heard they're quite hard to keep in captivity anyway, and I don't really have any information to give you regarding those. Lasius niger is a fully claustral queen, which means you do not need to feed her until the nanitics have arrived, and that is because she will break down her wing muscles that she no longer needs into basically like a soup that she'll feed her developing brood, and she'll use it as a way to sustain herself. So don't need to give her any food or anything. Don't try to give her honey. They probably would still take it, but it's not necessary, and it can just cause more stress to the queen herself, which keeping them stress-free at this point is very important because they can eat their eggs or stop laying eggs or just die. It's very important to keep them dark and quiet and calm. Trust me, it's very hard to resist the urge to check her every day because I just want to see how they're doing. But you gotta resist. Patience. Now, Lasius niger might be a fully claustral queen, but some ant species are semi-claustral, which means the female well, they're obviously going to be female, the queens will need to be supplied with food or potentially like a foraging area on top of their test tube nesting site. And that is because some species just don't have the fat resources to survive not being fed for such a prolonged period. Just make sure if you are going to get into ant keeping, you fully research what queen you will be getting and whether the species will be claustral or semi-claustral, because you don't want your queen dying now, because that'll be sad. On top of knowing that, another thing that is really important to know is whether your species hibernates. Now, coming from the UK and being in like the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of the ants in this country, I think almost all of them, they do go through a process of hibernation. Lasius niger is one of them. And so basically, come towards the end of October, she will pretty much cease all activity. She won't be laying eggs. They won't be foraging for food. They'll just be, if she has any nanitics at this time, they'll just be huddled together in the nest, pretty much just not using any of their body's resources and just essentially hibernating. Now for this, I believe the temperatures will need to be about between 5 and 8 degrees. Do correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I am very new to all of this, so I am open to any advice you guys have. Now, I personally will have to try and hibernate them in the fridge. It's not the most recommended method, but I do have cooler areas of my house that I can slowly acclimate them to lower temperatures in. It's just I don't have anywhere to drop them below 10 degrees, which is what they really need. So I'm going to have to be very careful about that. I will probably do a video on it in the future. Again, any advice would be welcome. But from the end of October to the end of March, I believe, will be when my queen will be hibernating. I think she will hopefully, fingers crossed, have some nanitics by then, so we can get an update video before that happens, but I'll have to, depends how she goes. She's doing alright so far. She's doing alright. She's got quite a few, she's got about 5 or 6 pupa, I believe, so she's ready. That is probably going to be about it for this video. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched. I'm really excited to see where this takes us. Hopefully I'll be getting another update soon when the first nanitics arrive, and we might be able to do their first feeding video. So that's going to be really exciting and I cannot wait. Hopefully, if you have any name suggestions for this queen, do let me know, because at the moment I'm sitting on like Queen Elise, because I was a bit of a League of Legends fan back in the day. But yeah, leave a comment if you've got any good name suggestions, because at the moment I'm all ears. I don't really know what to call her, but I feel like her and her developing brood deserve a majestic queen name. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully it'll be an ant update, we'll see. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe, all that jazz. And until then, bye guys!